Do you struggle with your conflict and communication resolution strategies? So yeah, we are, if you are like us, you struggled with this, and we are going over a tier list of all the best ways that you can resolve conflict in your marriage. And in the last episode, we released it about a month ago, we put in our, well, how many we do? 1, 2, 3, 4. We went over 4 ways and we put them on a tier list. And today we're going to go over 3 more ways, and because last time we did not go over any of the top ones,
the S tiers.
The S tiers. So we are doing all the S tiers today. Or wait, maybe we're not. I gave it away. We're doing the best ones today, and we're going to go over them. And yeah, you can let us know what you think. See if we missed anything. Do you have any feelings about this?
You just failed at the clickbait part of this.
This is, I'm too authentic for clickbait.
That's right. Okay, so just follow along. But yeah, I'm interested in this because I know that we've tried implementing these in our marriage and practiced them, but I don't remember like the names of them. So this will be
very interesting.
The theory names, but
one we have not practiced before per se.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
but I think we do it.
Yeah.
But it's one that I didn't learn about was a thing until I was researching for this to get one more to add. So
yeah.
So yeah, maybe yes.
So we've like implemented these, but we just haven't. We didn't know that they had a name, or I've forgot. I'm sure I've forgotten the names, but these are popular and effective ways to resolve conflict in marriage.
Okay, so we are gonna let's review the previous list. Do you want to review what
from bottom to top or top to
bottom? Let's go over what the worst ones were.
So bottom to top. All right. So D, do you even care? We have love and respect. That was by Eggerichs.
Yes.
That's how you say his name. And that was how men and women kind of communicate and experience love and respect differently, and how they lead with it and how they receive it. And then C tier, can you try harder? We have the love languages by Dr.
Monica came up with all these names.
I did not.
Keeping this in? Maybe not. Bless you.
I sneeze at your comments.
Not the love languages, I meant the tiers. But.
The tiers, yes. All right. So can you try harder? C tier, we have love languages by Dr. Gary Chapman. There's 5 different love languages, and that he has classified and kind of describes how somebody gives and receives love. And so if you are not communicating in the way that the other person receives love, you might be having some miscommunications or conflicts. So if you adjust yourself, then maybe that'll help. And we've seen that work.
But we think that there's better ways.
Yes. And it misses a lot, but it has some effect. All right. B tier is blessed or blessed. Which one did you?
I said blessed.
Blessed.
Right below saint.
All right. And that was attachment-based repair. I forget who the psychologist was the studied this, but I do know that Dr. Bruninger has talks and has written about attachment-based repair in marriage and family life as well. So I'd recommend, that's where I learned about it. Mm-hmm. But I know he didn't discover
He didn't write a book on it. So.
Yeah. And that is kind of like based on your past and how you learned how to attach to others and form relationships with others based on your past, typically within your own home as a child. And understanding that will help you as a spouse know how you attach and how your spouse attaches. And then almost perfect, which was our A tier, was the soft startup. That is easing your way into the conversation that could be very challenging, making sure your tone and your body posture is softer, and making sure that you're both available for this conflict conversation.
Conversation is not a conflict right off the bat.
Yeah, right. But like a conversation about a conflict. Sorry. So, and again, I don't know who formulated this one either, but I learned this in therapy with my own counselor and brought that back home.
No, the 7 Principles book.
Oh, the Gottmans.
Yeah, Gottmans.
There we go. The Gottmans. I do know who did it. See, like I learn things and then I forget who. I don't give people credit. So sorry. But yeah, so the soft startup. So that was something that we implemented as I was going through therapy, but the Gottmans have elaborated much more on that. So that's that. Now we have our S tiers.
S tier. So the first one on the S, well, we should have done this reverse where we like went over the next 3 and said where we put them, but okay. I already gave it away.
They're all in the S.
The next one is relationship restoration. Dr. Bob Schuchts. This is from the book Be Devoted specifically. So Dr. Bob Schuchts, I'm putting here that his approach to relationship restoration centers on the belief that unhealed emotional wounds and sins both individual and within the relationship, hinder love and unity. Healing, according to Dr. Bob Schutz, involves addressing these wounds and replacing lies with truth, particularly through the lens of our Catholic faith and the sacraments. So some of the key concepts that come out of this is understanding the anatomy of a wound, healing wounds, reconciliation through repair, and spiritual unity as a core foundation of the couples. And we actually, it was cool because we read the book and we also were able to interview him for the podcast a while ago. I think I did release it as a summer rewind. Yeah. But it was really cool to be able to go over these concepts with him. And he was really big on the unity of the couple and needing to be spiritually united, and that all conflict that isn't, like, I forgot the way he described it, because I remember talking to him about like how he would argue with his wife at times, but then like go off and pray and discern and then like come back and like apologize. And like that was always rooted in his faith somehow.
Yeah. Dr. Bob is the reason why he stands out for us, and I think for a lot of people, is he integrates the human formation and the spiritual formation when it comes to relationship building, and then when it also comes with just like your own self. Like he's very, very big on the both and of the situation. So your spiritual life has to be developed. Like you have to work on that. You have to be participating in your spiritual life. You have to know God. You have to know that he loves you in order to heal from spiritual wounds or abuse or just like things that like didn't go well in your life and you didn't sort that out well. You kind of started to believe some lies because of maybe like social situations in high school or, losing a job or like just different life circumstances, and the way that you internalize that can either be done well or done poorly.
Looking for Be Healed. I don't have it here. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract you.
That's okay. So he really pairs the two and like tries to integrate the human formation and the spiritual formation. And then in the book, Be Devoted in particular, he's like, okay, now take that and add that to another human who's also doing their own human and spiritual formation. And as a marriage, that is a sacrament and that is a spiritual reality and it's a human reality. So he does such a great job. And I think that's why we put him at the top of the list, because he not only is including like practical strategies, but is also very well aware of the sacraments and grace and the power that has.
Right. Because compared to all the other strategies, he's the one that this is like specifically requires that we grow in our faith and allow Christ to heal us. Whereas the other ones can be seen as like they are good strategies that anyone can implement, that you don't really need any faith at all to implement them. But for this one specifically, you need a faith in Christ and you need to let him heal you. So like I know and in his book, Be Healed, he talks about, he quotes Pope Benedict saying that like the Christianity's, one of the main roles is to heal. One of the reasons that is from Pope Benedict's, I'm sorry to do this. He's quoting from Pope Benedict's Jesus of Nazareth, where he talks about Jesus' main mission was to come heal. And not heal us in like miracle sense, but like heal us into like deep healing through our salvation and redemption and grace and everything. So that requiring us to need to do that in order for us to have a good, happy marriage. Because a lot of times we can feel like we can just put just do the right thing. If I do the love language, or if like I always do a soft startup, if I always do these other things, my marriage should be happy. But he really leans into the reality that sin separates us from God, but then also separates us from one another. So if those things aren't healed, if those sins aren't rooted out, then I would say it's near impossible to have a happy marriage with those things still festering in your soul.
And I think too, he also highlights how relationship is an avenue to healing, like a relationship with Jesus Christ and God the Father, a relationship with the Holy Spirit, a relationship with the church is healing, but also like your marriage can be a vehicle for that healing as well. And then vice versa, right? So like our spiritual healing leads into marital healing, and our marital healing will lead into spiritual healing, and how those two things, when you are living a vocational marriage, like those two things can't be separated. They impact one another. So yeah, kind of like your own personal sins, your own personal wounds are not personal anymore when you're in a marriage. Yeah. They are your marriage wounds. Yeah. And they hurt your spouse because you two have become one flesh. So so we like that.
So here are the pros and cons. We kind of went over them, but emphasis on emotional and spiritual healing. He also gives very practical tools within Be Devoted as well. And I think he did a good job and I don't know, I get this mixed up whether this was in Be Devoted or just our interview with him.
Okay. Yeah.
But he talks about how, he talks about mutual submission, but in a way that was very that we're both submissive to the Lord.
Yes.
And I really like the way he worded that as like it's just that we have to be and that just puts everything into perspective of like having a joint venture that we are both pursuing to do God's will.
Yeah.
And that should bring us more united. And you can't have that unless you have a relationship with God. So like again, like everything hinders on like where is your faith in this? And
just like rightly ordering that, right? Like there's a lot of debates all over YouTube, Instagram, podcasts about mutual submission. But like, I think a big part of the conversation that's missing is this submission to the Lord first. So if you are both submitting to the Lord first individually, and then as a married couple, then like submission just makes more sense. Like all of that, there's no posturing here. It's all like directed towards the Lord. So
the only con I added here, and I think this is a legitimate con that I don't think comes from him, but could come from misapplying his teachings, would be that an overemphasis on spiritual healing alone. So like I know that in the book Be Healed, he talks about like having prayer ministries, and then also like just goes through over how people can be healed, and then and if we get the sense of like the health of our marriage depends on how healed we are. And there's just still things that I struggle with. That means I can never have a healed marriage. Like that's not the case. So overemphasizing the reality of spiritual healing, I think, could be dangerous. I know in St. Paul's second letter to the Corinthians, I don't remember, he talks about having a thorn in his side. Well, it should be like Romans or something. He talks about, I don't think it is. He talks about having a thorn in his side and just saying that like he prayed for the Lord to take it away and the Lord never did. And then he said to him, for my power is perfect in weakness, and then he talks about for when I am weak, that I am strong. Yeah. In Paul's side, thorn in Paul's side verse is 2 Corinthians. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I was right.
Thank you.
But yeah, so like that's just a good like the part of Christianity is not always never is not a religion of comfort. So like suffering is not antithetical to our faith, because it is like through our suffering that we are healed and we are saved. So like if you are still struggling with things, it does not mean that your marriage is doomed.
Yes.
It does mean that we have to continue to pursue the Lord and continue to grow closer to him. And if he allows something to continue to be a cross in our lives like that, it doesn't mean that we aren't living a good life. That doesn't mean that we're doomed to have a terrible marriage. And I don't think Dr. Bob would ever say that, but I think sometimes that's interpreted as
agreed.
If I'm not healed, therefore I'm doing something wrong.
Agreed. Because perfect healing is not ever going to happen on this side of heaven.
Right.
So like our goal is to seek out healing, to pursue healing, because that is pursuing heaven, right? Like that is pursuing perfection and relationship with God. And I do think too, like it's a very like delicate dance, like a very delicate balance, whatever, of
delicate dance.
It's a delicate dance. I don't know where that came from, but
from balancing people. Sorry. Okay.
Like tempering your disappointment when healing doesn't come. Like you feel like you're doing all the right things and then you're not healed, or if you've been praying for miraculous healing and that prayer isn't answered the way that you hope. And so especially like in your marriage where you are praying for healing of addictions or the conflicts that keep coming up or what have you, to, again, not to overemphasize the spiritual healing and how there's an integration of human and spiritual healing happening.
So we put this in, like we said it already, we put it in S tier because we just think it is better than
the rest.
Better than just what the world offers. And I think it's very holistic and very Catholic. Next one. This is also from Dr. Gary Gottman.
John Gottman.
So this is the idea of love maps. And now this is in this book. Did you read?
Yeah.
So you know what love maps are?
I don't remember that it was called this, but yes, like I remember as I'm reading the slide, reading about this.
Okay. Well, okay. So the love maps, I thought it was brilliant. So it's a concept that refers to having a detailed mental and emotional understanding of your partner and their inner world. So do you have this of me?
A map of your inner world?
Yes. Because I don't.
Okay.
I'd love a map.
I'm pretty sure.
I'd love to know what's happening.
If you had ownership of this map, Mr. ADHD, you would lose it. You'd put it somewhere. There would be barbecue chip stains on it.
Nope. Listen, I had barbecue wings and my hands are fine. This includes their dreams, their fears, interests, major life events, values, beliefs, and preferences. It's like having a deep knowledge of a partner's psychology and experiences.
I feel like every time you're like, I love that you know me, it's because I read your map.
I think you have the map. You refuse to give it to me.
I
'Cause
do.
you're selfish.
Because I don't want it to be lost.
So the preferences and routines. This covers their favorite things, food, movies, etc. I love movies. Go to the movies with
I
me.
know.
How they like to relax. You do know this. How they like their coffee. You know this. Even their preferred side of the bed. You know this,
I know
except
this.
for some reason, I don't understand, and this is not happening this weekend.
Okay.
But when we travel and we get to the hotel, for some reason you always go to the other side.
So this is why.
And I hate it.
This is why. Because this man has two preferences of the side of the bed. His actual comfort preference, and then he's also like, but I'm the man, so I should sleep between the door and my wife.
I'm going to start
And
sleeping.
sometimes the position of between door and wife is not the comfort preferred side of the bed.
That is accurate.
So when we argue about it, it's me misguessing which one you wanted that time.
That is accurate. Okay.
Okay.
I
So I
rescind-
still have that.
I would like the redacted from the record. The next, life history, major life events, important childhood memories, friendships, worst experiences, favorite vacations. I love that I found that the Instagram algorithm has started sending me Hispanic
Oh,
Hispanic content.
parenting content.
Oh, it is
of
it
like
is so
being a child
of a Hispanic
Hispanic immigrants.
And I'm sending it to you and my mom.
Oh, they're so
'Cause
funny.
it is hilarious.
It's
and yes,
so
and like,
accurate.
yep, Vicks
It's
Vapor Rub
so
for
accurate.
everything. I love the one that was today. Did you see the thing about the woman who has kidney damage? And he's like,
Yes.
you know why? Because I had a friend who
Because
Was
the
it-
room wasn't
the
clean.
room wasn't clean. Yeah, yes, because
You know what?
yes,
I can't even do the accent.
no,
I know why.
because her
I
room
know you
wasn't
have
clean.
that.
See, well, that's like what did the kids say yesterday? Oh no, they said something. Oh, because we have flies in the house
Yeah.
because our dishes are dirty.
Yeah.
Not even because like the dishes don't have food on them; they're
No.
just dirty dishes.
Yep.
But because our dishes are dirty, there's
That's
flies all over the house.
That's
That's
what
it.
Grandpa said.
Thank you. Hopes and dreams, their secret ambitions, ideal job, aspirations, wishes, and current concerns with stressing them out at the moment, any conflicts they're facing, and how they're facing or how they're feeling about important upcoming events.
Values and beliefs. Sorry, you missed that one.
I
So
missed
their
that one.
core values, what they admire in others, what they're afraid of, how they deal with stress or conflict.
So the idea of a love map is like knowing
Knowing
the
person.
and like knowing them that well. And I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that's this is one of the things where I feel like I know you that well, and it changes too. Like this is a cool thing with being a parent when you start seeing your kid doing things that your spouse does, and you're like, oh, yeah, I love that they do that, and then they do these things that you don't like your spouse does. Like, oh,
okay, they do that too. Now I have two people that do that thing.
well, the hard thing is when you were like, you know how you're doing this? That's what this person does. You're like, oh,
Mm.
I have to
Yeah.
fix that.
Yeah. So I also really love this because I think that there's a lot of times where people will say this, I think, more in parenting, because they're afraid to say it for marriage, but they're like, I wish that there was a book that told me how to be a parent. And I feel like this is pretty close to like articulating the things that like you probably should know. And as you read it, you're like, I did know that, but it gives you like more of a clear direction of like how to implement and how to like pause and reflect and contemplate your spouse, and then how to like address what you know about them. And then maybe there are some gaps in what you do know. So you should
Yep.
be encouraged to explore those things or understand them better. Or you're like, oh, I knew that was a big life event, but I didn't know that life event affected their core values, and how that influenced that. So I think that the love maps is really helpful for if you're feeling lost, you can open the love map and like kind of get some more like clear direction that you're like, I should have known that, or like,
Well,
I do kind of know that.
I think it's important too, like if you're dating, engaged, or like at any point, like looking to getting to know your spouse even more, even as seasons change, like what are their aspirations, what are their goals, so that when conflict arises, you already have a good idea of like, this is what happened, this is where we're kind of going with this, rather than waiting for the conflict to arise and being like, wait, I didn't even know you cared about that.
Yeah. So being more intentional and less oblivious,
Yes.
like not just letting life happen around you guys, but like doing life together.
Yeah. So pros: enhances intimacy, improves communication, strengthens friendship,
Mm-hmm.
better conflict resolution. Oh, the cons though. The cons: it requires commitment and effort. You cannot just
This is not a one and done.
No.
This is not like the silver bullet solution and then everything is fine.
No.
This is what you need to do all the time.
Right, and that could be exhausting. I'm sorry, but I think it's worth it.
We're honest around here.
But honestly, like I didn't know you were gonna say that, but I think that this should come somewhat naturally if you enjoy your spouse. I think maybe I'm wrong. Spouses tell me in the comments, but or the reviews. But I think if you don't enjoy your spouse and they're not your best friend, I think this would be a lot harder to come to do, because you're like, well, if you have goals, just tell me.
Mm-hmm.
But like, why do I have to try to figure out, like, instead of like, I enjoy being with you, I'm with you so often that like these are I know what you want. I just
know them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think then that's really important, is that if there's an area of your life where this is a struggle, this feels unnatural, this feels like extra effort, and it's not fun, I don't really like this, then like be curious about why is that so laborious for you to participate in this area of their life, or for them to like reveal, or for you to reveal this piece of your life. Like maybe there's a wall that you have set up, and so your spouse doesn't know that because you haven't let them into that.
Yeah.
Or you've been trying to like knock at the door, and they're not opening. And like this challenges you to be curious about like, why do I not know this yet? Or understand it yet? That's
a really good point. Where do we put this? We put this at S tier as well.
Surprise.
Love maps. So relationship restoration and love maps are S tier. So this last one, I think we also do. You tell me. I hadn't heard of it until I was researching for this. I actually don't know if I put it in S tier. I may not have, and I'm sorry if I didn't. But the last one is called CPR. Okay, this is from the Pop Checks.
I like that.
From Dr. Greg Popcheck.
Relationship CPR. Bring it back to life.
All right, so this is the 5 steps of CPR. Not like actual CPR, not cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Don't do this.
Staying alive. Staying alive.
This is relationship CPR. Identify the problem, not the person. Couples are taught to focus on specific behaviors or issues rather than attacking their spouse's character. Step 2, identify the positive intention behind the behavior. Instead of assuming malicious intent, spouses are encouraged to look for the underlying need or positive motivation behind the other's words or actions. Step 3, explore more virtuous alternatives. This step involves working together to find solutions that address the concerns of both parties or partners. Darn it, your laughing's messed me up. Both partners and align with Christian values. Why are you laughing?
Because you're reading so well. It's like you needed to become a character in order to read well.
I do.
I can't be Renzo, the average reader. I need to be. I know you. See? Love map.
I read
my love map.
I have a whole backstory in my head and everything. Step 4, repair and reaffirm the relationship after a conflict. It is important to reinforce the relationship and repair any harm. This might include a sincere apology or a reassuring gesture. Step 5, I pat her on the shoulder. Step 5, and the butt. Reinforce the most. Oh,
Renzo's back.
So bad.
Out of care.
Step 5, reinforce the more virtuous way of handling things. The final step is to make a conscious effort to establish new, healthier patterns I went too far. Healthier patterns for resolving conflicts in the future.
All right, so this is by Dr. Greg Popcheck, who we've also interviewed.
Yes.
And I really appreciate his work.
He's very practical, very down to earth in his content.
Mm-hmm. And he really has done a lot of work on not just marriage, but also like family life. Like integrating your children into conflict resolution as well. Yep. So he's got stuff on that, but just like trying to build a happy, healthy home. Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of good stuff for that.
And this is from Catholic Home, HOM.
Yes.
.com, I believe is the website.
Yeah. So I like this a lot. I agree. I think that we try to do this. We've definitely had issues with and have worked through the first one, identifying the problem, not the person. Mm-hmm. And instead of like attacking somebody's character or like labeling them or giving the person adjectives for like, and blaming them basically for the situation, and like, you're the reason, you're the problem, you're the reason why we are always fighting. But it's like this behavior or this situation is what's causing our family stress, our marriage stress, and we need to address the behaviors. And then there could be like underlying needs, underlying motivations to that. So let's get curious about that, but I'm going to bring up the, and you're not the problem, but like this thing is the problem.
No, I like that a lot. I like that a lot because I think this is a super practical way of like, compared to the other ones. I feel like if people could just, if people are coming in like, we are fighting about these things, I don't know how to go about it differently. Instead of trying to give them concepts like love languages and love and respect, and like having them try to change everything that they do with a new paradigm shift. This is very easy to implement, and just be like, all right, well, what's the problem? Let's identify that and like start working from there. Like, what was the positive intent? Yeah. What are we going to be able to do differently? And something that forces couples to also like to apologize. Like, you have to repair because like this is not the way it's supposed to be. I think this is very practical that you could implement right away.
I feel like this is like the way to do love maps and restore Dr. Bob Schuchts. I forget how you worded it, but like the restorative part and the love maps, this is like, those are like a lot of like theory, and you're like, oh yes, that sounds, I want to do that. And then this is like, here's how. When you start the fight, go at it this way. And then as you move through the fight, go this way. Yeah. And then when it's done, make sure that after like a reconnection is made, a loving pat on the back. No, like a loving gesture, a loving word, bring that back, like really wrap up that conflict so that everybody knows it's resolved now.
Yeah, because you could argue that the tier list that we made is not necessarily conflict resolution strategies, which you're right, but I think they're more, some of them are, like this is specifically a conflict resolution strategy. The other ones, though, I think are things you could do that will change the way you guys have conflict and the way you communicate, because that's more of a paradigm shift. Like it's changing the way we do everything so that when we argue, it's just completely different.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like, all right, argue this way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like the focus on the virtuous, like the virtuous path forward. So like, if you're kind of like, I don't know where to go from here, I understand the problem, but I don't know what to do. It's like, well, pick the virtuous thing. Like pick the hard but good. Yeah.
So the pros are that it encourages couples to work together, behavior focused rather than person focused, and like you said, encourages repair. See, some of the cons that I came up with, it requires commitment and effort, man. You got to try. You got to try. It can feel unnatural. And the last one, if you can't get over step 1, you may require professional help. Like if you can't get over, and this is, I saw a couple of videos on this, but like if you are stuck with, my spouse is just this way, like they're never going to change, they're the problem. If you can't get past that, you may need professional help, because you're going to be unable to focus on the issue itself, and you're going to be constantly focused on, see, they're doing it again, this is just the way they are. So this by itself is not going to fix that.
Also too, if every time conflict arises, no matter how it's presented, and you receive that as, my spouse hates me, my spouse thinks I'm terrible, I'm never good enough, so like on the receiving end, then you also, as a couple, but like as yourself, should try to seek some professional help for that as well, because that both of those show some sort of woundedness, like an internal thing, a pride thing, a sin thing, and also just like a human formation thing of like, you need to be able to have conflict arise and not take it personally all the time. And you also need to be willing to like not always blame and be a part of the problem and the solution.
Yeah, perfectly said. So where do we put this? I think that this needs to be moved, because I literally put it as A, almost perfect, but I actually think this is really good. What do you agree or no? Do you want to put it down to almost perfect?
Well, you know what's funny is like at first when I was reading it, I was like, I don't know if this is S tier, because it's not quite as like integrative and holistic, but it's super practical. So I think it belongs on S tier if you realize that this is an S tier strategy, which is, I guess, what this is called. But it like, you need to make sure that you have that paradigm shift too. Yeah. Like that alone is not, that will just be like in the moment. And then these other things help you to like.
Well, I guess it must be similar. It might be similar to the soft startup. I think that's why I put it in A initially. Yep. So would you put it back down in A?
I think it's better than soft startup though. So let's keep it at S.
Okay. We'll keep it at S. So that is our list for today. So we think that the top 3 things that you could do for your conflict communication: relationship restoration with Dr. Bob Schuchts, love maps, Dr. Gary Chapman, and CPR. with from Dr. Gregory Popchak. All the other ones are worth checking out except the last one. Sorry, that's how I feel. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me in the comments. Like, comment, and subscribe, and help us continue to grow the YouTube channel. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave us a review. And just thank you for being here. We love all of your support. And be sure to check out our Substack because that still exists, even though it's hard to put time in it because school's in session and Monica has a lot more to do.
He watched it today.
But we're so happy you're here, and thank you for all your support. We will see you at the next episode.